All things are lessons God would have me learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. What's good, fam? Today we are going to be studying lesson 193 of A Course in Miracles. Today we are going to dive even deeper than ever before on the fact that everything we see out there means nothing. It is neutral, it is meaningless. And me and you have given everything we see out there, all the meaning that it has for us. So that means if something out there occurs and it causes you to feel worry, doubt, fear, anger, etc., then you have given it some sort of meaning. You've given it an illusion. You are not seeing what is really occurring. You are simply seeing a projection of your own belief of separation and lack and not enoughness projected outward, and that's the meaning you gave to that occurrence that's happening outside of you, that's pushing your buttons. And that is a lesson that God would have us learn. That lesson that pushes our buttons is letting us know that, hey, this is a lesson that you need to learn. And the lesson is that nothing in the world you see means anything, because this world is an illusion. It is simply a dream. It is not really what is going on in the larger scheme of things. And if something that is an illusion, that is paper thin, that has no substance at all, can trigger you, that means that you have given that thing some sort of meaning. You are seeing a distorted image of what is happening outside of yourself, because everything so-called outside of yourself is an extension of who you are. Everything that looks like it's happening outside of you is emerging forth from the same oneness that you emerge forth from. Everything, you are one with all aspects of creation. I am one with all aspects of creation. And all aspects of creation are only love, because love is all there is, and love is all encompassing. What is all encompassing can have no opposite. Therefore, fear, being love's opposite, is simply an illusion, because it cannot really exist. Meaning, if you feel any form that fear may take, i.e., you get triggered by anything out there in the world, i.e., you get triggered by any aspect of yourself, then that just shows that there are things that me and you need to work on. There is meaning that we need to blow out of our field. There is beliefs that we hold that we are separate from our source. If we're getting triggered from something out there that is one with us, because it is one with God, because all that is emerges forth from God, that must mean that that thing that's triggering us is one with us as well. We are one with all aspects of creation. And if something that we are one with and a part of triggers us, that is an hallucination. It is not really occurring. It is a false belief that we have distorted what is really going on. We see a distorted image of what's really going on. Now, vice versa, the opposite is also true. Whenever you experience something out there in the world, something out there occurs, and you feel love and light and joy and happiness, that is something that you no longer need to work on, because you are in your natural state whenever experiencing whatever it is that you are experiencing out there. So whenever you feel happiness and joy as a result of something that occurs out there, that is not a lesson you need to learn. You are simply in your natural state, and you have released all meaning from that thing out there that you feel happy in the presence of. Now, don't get it twisted. If something out there causes you to feel love and light, meaning if you're feeling love and happy and joyous because something is happening to you, and then that thing is no longer happening to you, and then you feel down again, that is a form of conditional love. Therefore, you are still hallucinating whenever you are looking for love outside of yourself. So the goal that we are going to get to today is the understanding and remembrance that there should be nothing outside of us, and there really is nothing outside of us that can cause us to feel fear or love. We are simply love in our natural state. And if you need something to feel love, you're simply still believing in separation. And if something out there makes you fearful, in any form, you're still believing in separation. Who you are is one with all aspects of creation. You need nothing. You are perfect and whole right now in this moment. And this experience that we are feeling right now, this emotion, this love that we are in the presence of right now, is our natural state. We need nothing to feel this way. Therefore, right now in this moment, we are not experiencing no triggers of ours because we are focused. Our minds are focused on truth and we are not hallucinating. We are in the presence of our true self, if you will. Whenever, however, you go back into your everyday life and me and you go our separate ways and something does push our buttons, that is letting us know that that is a lesson that God would have us learn. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this lesson. If you got the lesson open already, perfect. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and begin. Lesson 193. All things are lessons God would have us learn. God does not know of learning, yet his will extends to what he does not understand, in that he wills the happiness his Son inherited of him be undisturbed. Eternal and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, and eternally open and wholly limitless in him. That is his will, and thus his will provides the means to guarantee that is done. God sees no contradictions, yet his Son believes he sees them. Thus he has a need for one who can correct his erring sight and give him vision that will lead him back to where perception ceases. God does not perceive at all, yet it is he who gives the means by which perception is made true and beautiful enough to let the light of heaven shine upon it. It is he who answers what his Son would contradict and keeps his sinlessness forever safe. These are the lessons God would have you learn. His will reflects them all, and they reflect his loving kindness to the Son he loves. Each lesson has a central thought, the same in all of them. The form alone is changed, with different circumstances and events, with different characters and different themes, apparent but not real. They are the same in fundamental content. It is this: forgive, and you will see this differently. That is the fundamental content behind every single lesson that we have done, behind the entire course. Forgive, and you will see this differently. So it states that although the form and examples that are used in each lesson may appear to be different, they are really teaching the same fundamental concept right here, which is forgive and you will see this differently. And that is very true, because me and you, again, have things out there in the world that may push our buttons or trigger us or cause us to experience uncontrollable and irrational emotions. Therefore, if something can cause you to feel a certain type of way, you are at effect, which you're really not. But whenever you give something meaning and you believe that it is real, that belief takes on a life of its own, if you will. And now you are believing that that's causing you to feel some type of way, when really you are the only cause here. That out there is just the effect, but you gave it that meaning, and now you're feeling as if it has power over you, but it only has power to the extent to which you give it power. Nothing outside of us has power over us. Me and you are the dominating force in our life. We are the most powerful being in the universe, me and you. And there's nothing that has control or dominion over us. It is what we do with our powerful mind that causes us to either be in the presence of this truth and know that we are cause, or to see a illusion, hallucinate, if you will, and believe that something outside of us has power over us. So that's why what me and you are doing when we train this powerful tool of ours every day, is so powerful. That's why that is so powerful, because me and you are learning to regain control of our life and see what it is that we still have meaning attached to, and then remove our meaning from it so that way it no longer has, quote, cause over us. It doesn't really have cause over you, but because you have given it your life force by believing in it, it does have cause over you in your world, in your reality, from your perspective, from your perception. And that is what we are here to undo. And the only way to undo that is to forgive ourselves for having given that a distorted image of what God is. So forgiveness is our function as the light of the world. Forgive and you will see this differently. If you are experiencing anything in your life right now that is less than desirable, forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive anybody involved. Forgive the situation, circumstance, event. Forgive yourself. Forgive the past. Forgive a decision you could have made better in the past that you're still beating up on yourself over. Forgiveness is the answer. And although somebody has a trigger, for example, a problem, if you will, and it gets solved and it no longer triggers them, and they believe that they removed it using a technique other than forgiveness, they really just forgave. There is only forgiveness. That is the only way to release yourself from the illusions that you made. So although you may do another so-called technique that causes you to release that belief from your mind, you really just forgave. Forgiveness takes many different forms, but that is what is necessary in order for us to free ourselves from the illusions that we have imprisoned ourselves in. These are the words the Holy Spirit speaks in all your tribulations, all your pain, all suffering regardless of its form. These are the words with which temptation ends and guilt, abandoned, is revered no more. These are the words which end the dream of sin and rid the mind of fear. These are the words by which salvation comes to all the world. One more time, those words were forgive and you will see this differently. And I apologize, but I did actually skip over the fourth paragraph. So let's go back real quick. Certain it is that all distress does not appear to be but unforgiveness. Yet that is the content underneath the form. It is this sameness which makes learning sure, because the lesson is so simple that it cannot be rejected in the end. No one can hide forever from a truth so very obvious that it appears in countless forms, and yet is recognized as easily in all of them, if one but wants to see the simple lesson there. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Forgive, and you will see this differently. I want to see things differently as one of the lessons, the earlier lessons that we've done. I want to see this differently. I want to see the situation involving blank differently. And the only way to see this situation involving blank differently is to forgive anyone involved in the situation involving blank. Shall we not learn to say these words when we are tempted to believe that pain is real and death becomes our choice instead of life? Shall we not learn to say these words when we have understood their power to release all minds from bondage? These are words which give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. Powerful, one more time. These are the words which give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. And remember, you are the one that has given that thing power over you, meaning nothing outside of yourself has power over you. But if it appears like it does, it is because you have given it that power, and you must retract that power and no longer believe in an illusion, no longer believe in what is not really occurring, no longer believe in any form of fear, because fear simply does not exist. Again, it is an illusion, and you could consider yourself hallucinating whenever you are in fear. You see them rightly when you hold these words in full awareness, and do not forget these words apply to everything you see or any brother looks upon amiss. How can you tell when you are seeing wrong, or someone else is failing to perceive the lesson he should learn? Does pain seem real in the perception? If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned. Powerful. One more time. If pain seems real in any of your perceptions, in any way you view life, if pain seems real, if worry, doubt, fear seems real, be sure the lesson is not learned. So me and you have a lot of lessons to learn. Me and you have to stay woke in the presence of when we're experiencing those lessons, because what could happen is if we're not aware that this is a lesson God would have us learn, we are going to mistake it for truth. We are going to mistake this situation involving whatever or whoever as real, as attack, as we are going to feel vulnerable, we are going to feel lack, we are going to feel, again, any form that upset may take, and we are going to think it real if we are unaware, because we are acting from the ego. We are acting from the perception of our not right mind. And whenever we remain aware that whenever we are being triggered, this is a lesson that God would have us learn, that is when we can say something along the lines of this. That is when we could say, I want to see this situation differently. I forgive everyone involved in this situation. I forgive myself. I want the love of God right now. I want truth. I want to be in the presence of truth. And whenever those powerful thoughts, you don't even have to say those words out loud, although it will be a very helpful factor to really focus your thought to activate that intention. But even if you don't say it with words, just by you having that intention in your mind is going to help you loosen up your tenseness in relation to this situation, because now you're saying, okay, although I know that I'm being triggered right now and I have given this situation all the meaning that it has for me and it appears real right now to me, my first step is done because I am willing to see this differently. I want to see this differently. And that is the first step to actually seeing it differently. And once you kind of rampage yourself through powerful, deliberate thought and focus and concentration, whenever you focus your way into this good feeling state of mind, this truth that we are experiencing right now, then you will see that situation that occurred, that pushed your buttons, as it really is, which is an illusion, which is a lesson that God would have you learn. And whenever you learn that lesson and you really learn that lesson, then you can experience the same thing again, and you won't feel the way you did before because you have learned the lesson. You have obliterated the belief that was causing you to perceive that situation fearfully. So now if that situation occurs again, because the belief is obliterated and no longer there, you are going to see the situation as it really is, which is an extension of the one universal consciousness, which is who you are, I am, they are, that is, it all is. There is only love here, and we forget this sometimes. Let's not forget it no more. If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned. And there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain through eyes the mind directs. Oh my goodness. One more time. And there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain through eyes the mind directs. God would not have you suffer thus. He would help you forgive yourself. His Son does not remember who he is. Me and you do not remember who we are. And God would have him not forget his love and all the gifts his love brings with it. Would you now renounce your own salvation? Would you fail to learn the simple lessons heaven's teacher sets before you, that all pain may disappear and God may be remembered by his Son? All things are lessons God would have you learn. He would not leave an unforgiving thought without correction, nor one thorn or nail to hurt his holy Son in any way. He would ensure his holy rest remain untroubled and serene, without a care, in an eternal home which cares for him. And he would have all tears be wiped away, with none remaining yet unshed, and none but waiting their appointed time to fail. For God has willed that laughter should replace each one, and that his Son be free again. We will attempt today to overcome 1,000 seeming obstacles to peace in just one day. Let mercy come to you more quickly. Do not try to hold it off another day, another minute, or another instant. Time was made for this. Use it today for what its purpose is. Morning and night, devote what time you can to serve its proper aim, and do not let the time be less than meets your deepest need. Give all you can, and give a little more. For now we would arise in haste and go unto our Father's house. We have been gone too long, and we would linger here no more. And as we practice, let us think about all things we saved to settle by ourselves, and kept apart from healing. Let us give them all to him who knows the way to look upon them, so that they will disappear. Truth is his message. Truth his teaching is. His are the lessons God would have us learn. Each hour, depending on the time today, each hour, spend a little time today, and in the days to come, in practicing the lesson in forgiveness in the form established for the day, and try to give it application to the happenings the hour brought, so that the next one is free of the one before. The chains of time are easily unloosened in this way. Let no one hour cast its shadow on the one that follows, and when that one goes, let everything that happened in its course go with it. Thus will you remain unbound in peace eternal in the world of time. This was a beautiful way of saying, stay present. Whenever you're present, you can only feel love, because love is the only thing that's happening in every instant. And if you are experiencing anything other than love or light or joy or happiness or peace in any moment, you're not present, because presence is a state of mind that is happening here and now. And the only thing happening here and now is God, is love, is light. So this was a powerful way of showing us that whenever we experience something that is fearful, on the hour, whenever we are doing our practice period, we are going to return to our natural state of being, and then from here we are going to extend this state of mind forevermore, no longer falling back asleep unnecessarily to experience fear. This is the lesson God would have you learn. There is a way to look on everything that lets it be to you another step to him, and to salvation of the world. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive, and this will disappear. You will forgive, and this will disappear. We will forgive, and this will disappear. This is a very powerful tool that we have just added to our mental arsenal right now, to our toolbox. This is a powerful tool. Whenever we are experiencing whatever seems to be contrast, we repeat, I will forgive, and this will disappear. Now, it doesn't mean that whatever is happening right now in front of us is going to disappear, because that is in the world of time, the world of illusion, that is in the world. So although the condition that is taking place outside of you may appear to look the same to other people around you, it is going to be very different to you because you forgave, and now it appears this will disappear. It disappears. I will forgive and this will disappear. You forgave, and now although the actual form that's taking place didn't disappear, your false perception of what occurred out there disappeared, and now you only see in it what was always there, which is love and light. So let's keep this tool on our minds forevermore until we no longer need it. We will forgive and this will disappear. I will forgive and this situation involving blank will disappear. Me and you will forgive, and the form may still be the same after we forgive, but our perception of it, which was false, will disappear. To every apprehension, every care, and every form of suffering, repeat these self-same words. And then you hold the key that opens heaven's gate and brings the love of God, the Father, down to earth at last, to raise it up to heaven. God will take this final step himself. Do not deny the little steps he asks you take to him. Do not deny the little steps he asks you take to him. Me and you have just read a powerful lesson, and my favorite part about this was the statement, I will forgive and this will disappear. If we could just keep that on our mind today, that could be the only thing that we ever learn from our time spent here together. That would be the most ideal statement to leave with. Me and you will forgive and this will disappear. Just spam that statement if you're experiencing anything other than love. Just spam that statement. Even if you don't believe it, just start spamming that statement, meaning just start repeating it over and over and over again, out loud, or even in your mind. I will forgive and this will disappear. And again, and again, and again, and again. And what you will notice is that your mind is so full of that because you just literally allowed your mind to be preoccupied with that statement, that you will see that experience that caused you to feel anything other than love differently. You're going to see it differently because you're going to see it as it really is. Remember, that means nothing. Everything outside of us means nothing. Nothing outside of us has power over us. Me and you have given the power to that thing. And even then, that's a false statement because we can't give power to nothing. We are power. So we can believe would be a better statement. We can believe that we have given that outside situation, circumstance, or event or condition power, and therefore from our perception, from our perspective, from our unique perspective, we are going to believe that it has power over us. But whenever we retract the power, which again we really can't do because we can't give it power, this is a very funny thing that we're discussing right now. The mind works in very funny ways because we're trying to describe something that can't really be done. Me and you have that is why the word illusion and hallucination is so funny and so powerful and so accurate to describe what we're experiencing whenever we're experiencing fear, because fear is basically me and you, love and light, who are power, who are extensions of that which we call God. Fear is that which we believe, but it's not really there. And whenever we believe that something has power over us, that is an hallucination. It is an illusion. It is our own doing. And if we want to be in our right mind, which we do, then we would no longer give power to that belief. We would no longer give attention to that belief. Your attention given to anything is you flowing your life force in that direction. And whenever we remember that, then we are going to be more deliberate with where we are flowing our attention and how we are flowing our attention. And whenever you find yourself flowing your attention in a direction that you wouldn't do if you were in your right mind, just say, I will forgive and this will disappear. And by you speaking that statement, your attention is now focused on that statement, and therefore you have diverted your attention from what never really existed to truth. So I know there's a lot of tongue twisters here. There's a lot of ways you could speak this information, and we have been doing so for the past 193 days. But just know that it's even more simple than any words can describe. It is simply a reawakening to the fact that you are as God created you, always have been, and always will be. That is a miracle. So we're going to pause right there for today. Let's really dwell on this statement. We could keep saying it over and over and over again, and we will. I will forgive, and this will disappear. So remember that everything is a lesson that God would have you learn, and whenever you are in the presence of that lesson that God would have you learn, repeat that statement, and you will learn the lesson. We will meet here again tomorrow for lesson 194 of A Course in Miracles, and I will see you there.